Hello students, this is Kanupriya, PGT Geography, and here I am once again with my next video on the very next chapter, which is Chapter 6 Geomorphic Processes. This is the Chapter 6 of Book 1 Fundamentals of Physical Geography. So let's start with this chapter. Dear students, you are already aware that the earth crust is dynamic in nature. It has moved in the past and it is continuously moving vertically as well as horizontally. The differences in the internal forces which are operating from within the earth's surface, which built up the crust, have been responsible for the variations in the outer surface of the crust. The earth's surface is being continuously subjected to external forces induced basically by energy, sunlight. Of course, the internal forces are still active, though with different intensities. That means the Earth's surface is being continuously subjected to the external forces which are originating within the Earth's atmosphere and by the internal forces which are originating within the surface of the Earth. The external forces which are originating from the Earth's atmosphere are known as exogenic forces, and these forces are bringing lot of variations on the surface of the earth. And we have internal forces as well, which are known as endogenic forces originating within the earth's surface. The actions of exogenic forces resulting in wearing down of relief or elevation and filling up of basins or depressions on the earth's surface. The phenomena of wearing down of relief features of the surface of the earth through erosion is called as gradation. Dear students, you are already aware that the earth crust is dynamic in nature. It has moved in the past and it is moving continuously, vertically as well as horizontally. We have two types of forces which are continuously active on the surface of the earth. We have endogenic forces and exogenic forces. The forces which are originating from within the earth's surface, those forces are called as endogenic forces, and the forces which are originating from within the earth's atmosphere, those forces are called as exogenic forces. Both endogenic forces and exogenic forces are responsible for bringing variations on the surface of the earth. In endogenic forces, the differences in the internal forces operating from within the earth which built up the crust have been responsible for the variations in the outer surface of the crust. The earth's surface is being continuously subjected to external forces induced basically by energy. Of course, the internal forces are still active, though with different intensities. That means the earth's surface is being continuously subjected to the external forces originating within the earth's atmosphere and by the internal forces from within the earth. External forces are called as exogenic forces and internal forces are called as endogenic forces. The process of wearing down of relief variations of the surface of the earth through erosion is called as gradation. So basically these two forces are responsible for wearing down of relief features or filling up of depressions on basins. These forces are exogenic forces and endogenic forces. In general terms, the endogenic forces are mainly land building forces and the exogenic processes are mainly land wearing forces. As we all know, the surface of the earth is very sensitive. Human beings depend upon the earth for their sustenance and have been using it extensively and intensively. It's very important to understand that we have to use our earth and nature in an effective manner without disturbing its balance and diminishing its potential for the future. Most of the surface of the earth had and has been shaped over a period of time, and because of its use and misuse by human beings, its potential is being diminished at a fast rate. So if the processes which are shaping the earth's surface and which have shaped the surface of the earth into various forms and shapes, the nature of the material of which it is composed of are properly understood, then precautions can be taken in order to minimize the detrimental effects of human beings and to preserve it for posterity. So basically, if we could understand about the exogenic and endogenic forces which are continuously shaping, which have continuously shaped and which are continuously shaping our Earth's surface, and the nature of the materials of which Earth is made up of are properly understood, then precautions can be taken in order to reduce the detrimental effect of human beings on planet Earth or on resources, and we can preserve it for the future generation, for posterity. Now let's understand what are geomorphic processes. It is composed of two words, geo and morphos. Geo means earth and morphos means form. So what are the various processes which continuously shapes the earth's surface? Now firstly we have to understand what are geomorphic processes. The endogenic and exogenic forces causing physical stresses and chemical actions on earth materials and bringing about changes in the configuration of the surface of the earth are known as geomorphic processes. So basically these endogenic and exogenic forces, they continuously put pressure on the various materials of the earth, and they bring about changes in the configuration of the surface of the earth, and all these processes which brings on the changes in the surface of the earth are known as geomorphic processes. The most important one is diastrophism and volcanism in endogenic geomorphic processes. We have two types of geomorphic processes. We have exogenic processes and endogenic processes. In endogenic processes, we have diastrophism and volcanism. Weathering, mass wasting, erosion, deposition are the exogenic geomorphic processes. These all topics will cover in the later part of this chapter. In endogenic processes, we'll discuss diastrophism and volcanism, and in exogenic processes, we'll discuss weathering, mass wasting, erosion, and deposition. Any exogenic element of nature like water, ice, wind, etc., capable of acquiring and transporting earth material can be called as a geomorphic agent. When these elements of nature become mobile due to the gradients, they remove the materials and transport them over slopes and deposit them at lower level. An agent is a mobile medium like running water, moving ice masses, wind, waves, currents, which removes, transports and deposits earth materials. Running water, groundwater, glaciers, wind, waves, currents, these all can be called as geomorphic agents. And you have to understand these all geomorphic agents are mobile mediums. These are continuously moving, and because of which they can remove, transport and deposit the various weathered earth materials. So all these are included in geomorphic agents which are continuously bringing changes on the surface of the earth. Now, what are endogenic processes? The energy which originates from within the earth is the main force behind endogenic geomorphic processes. This energy is mostly generated by radioactivity, rotational, tidal force or tidal friction, and primordial heat from the origin of the earth. This energy due to geothermal gradients and heat flow from within induces diastrophism and volcanism in the lithosphere. Due to variations in geothermal gradients and heat flow from within, crustal thickness and strength, the action of endogenic forces are not uniform, and hence the tectonically controlled original crustal surface is uneven. So basically endogenic processes originated from the interior of the earth, and these forces are responsible for various types of geomorphic processes. And this energy which generate endogenic forces, these are generated by radioactive elements, rotational factors, tidal friction and primordial heat. And all these things create gradients, geothermal gradients and heat flow from within the earth's surface, and which creates diastrophism and volcanism in the lithosphere. So these are endogenic processes. So let's discuss now what is diastrophism and what is volcanism. First one is diastrophism. All processes that move, elevate or build up portions of the earth crust come under diastrophism. They include orogenic processes, aperogenic processes, earthquakes and plate tectonics. Orogenic processes involve mountain building. The word oro means mountain. And in these processes, mountains are formed through severe folding and affecting long and narrow belts of the earth crust. Aperogenic processes involves uplift or warping of large parts of the earth crust. Earthquakes involving local relatively minor movements. Plate tectonics involving horizontal movements of crustal plates. In the process of orogeny, the crust is severely deformed into folds. Due to aperogeny, there may be simple deformation. Orogeny is a mountain building process, whereas aperogeny is continental building process. Through the processes of orogeny, aperogeny, earthquakes and plate tectonics, there can be folding and fracturing of the earth. All these processes cause pressure, volume and temperature changes, which in turn induce metamorphism of the rocks or change in the rocks. So basically, orogeny involves mountain building and aperogeny involves continental building process, and all these processes brings changes in the rocks. Second one is volcanism. Volcanism includes the movement of molten rock or magma onto or towards the earth's surface, and also formation of many intrusive and extrusive volcanic forms. We have studied volcanoes, types of volcanoes, forms of volcanoes in our chapter 3rd in detail. So these two processes, that is diastrophism and volcanism is included in endogenic geomorphic processes. So this is all for today. I hope this is clear to you. If you have any doubt, please come up with your doubts. Thank you so much.